time that I should be speaking. And Kathy is going to find a hook for me really fast. But you know, one other thing, I usually finish all the meetings by telling everybody what's happened on this date. Well, I'm not going to bother doing that because I don't have the time, but what I am going to do is tell everybody that this is World Day for Cultural Diversity for Dialogue and Development. Perfect for our day today. And that's my introduction, and it's time for our music. And we want everybody to stand now, because when we sing, we do have to project.
Thank you, President John. Well, good afternoon, and it's a wonderful day to be here at the Swedish Club in the Vasa Room. Some of you that might have been to Stockholm may know that the Vasa was a famous warship that didn't last long. And my wife and I had seen it twice. We saw it the first time when it had just been raised from the bottom after several hundred years. And then we saw it later after the restoration was complete. We begin our meetings here in Seattle Rotary with music. And this is intended to be participation, not performance. But the idea is to get everyone centered right here for the next hour. Music references abound here at the Swedish Club. I noticed when I came in an ABBA display and then little references to ABBA. We're not going to sing ABBA music, though. I'm sure someone's disappointed in the room. Jevin and I are not in that group. We are, though, going to sing a Louis Armstrong favorite that we think is appropriate for the relationships between our nations and our peoples. With accompaniment by the Music Committee Co-Chair, Jevin Powell. Please join us for It's a Wonderful World. And the words should be on the screen. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blues and clouds of white, the bright blessed day and the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I hear babies cry, and I watch them. Oh, one page ahead. Sorry. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of the people walking by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Thank you so much. Welcome to Seattle Rotary.
Thank you. Wow, that was wonderful. Jimmy, Jevon, thank you. Thank you so much. So nice to see so much people today. This is a really, really, really good day. So happy of that. So I'm Jorge Chapa, and on behalf of all Seattle Rotarians, I welcome you all to the Diplomacy Day 2025. So, an applause. Yeah, it's amazing. We are very, very honored to today have the following dignitaries joining us in this amazing day. We have the retired U.S. Ambassador, Roger Miss. Eric Landry, Brigadier General in the Canadian Army. Daniel Chen, the Director General of the Taiwan Economic and Cultural Office. Onji So, the Consul General of the Republic of Korea and Dean of the Washington State Consular Corps. Héctor Iván Godoy Prisque, the Consul General of the United Mexican States. Makoto Iori, the Consul General of Japan. Christy Andrino, the Consul General of the Republic of Guatemala. Alfonso Paz, Consul General of the Republic of Peru. Sophie Chang, Deputy Director of the Taiwan Economic and Cultural Office. Soumit Raju, the Consul General of the Republic of India. Consul. The Consul. Yoshimi Matsuo, the Consul of Japan. And Lorena Toyos, Political and Cultural Affairs Officer at the Mexican Consulate in Seattle. Welcome, welcome everyone.
Thank you, Jorge. Does this one work? Okay,
Yeah,
it works.
working.
Okay. Thank you, Jorge. I'm Paul Tsai, and I would like to welcome the Rotarians joining us from 9 different clubs in our district. First, the Rotary Club of Ballard. The Rotary Club... The Rotary Club of Bellevue. The Rotary Club of Bellevue Breakfast. The Rotary Club of Duval. The Rotary Club of Mercer Island. The Rotary Club of Renton. The Rotary Club of Seattle International District. The University District Rotary Club. The Rotary Club of West Seattle. We're also honored to have the following Rotary leaders joining us today. Past District Governor Jesse Tam. Past District Governor Ezra Teshom. Past District Governor Alan Mary. Past District Governor Kai Peterson. District Governor nominee and the Honorary Consul of Jamaica, Raymond Connell. District Governor Designate Patricia Chapman. I would also like to welcome everyone joining us online today, including District Governor-elect Jeff Borak, and thank you, Mary Goldie, for hosting the Zoom room, and also thank you to Pete Delaney for his reporting of today's meeting. Now, fellow Rotarian Paul Spinner will introduce today's program.
Hello, my name is Paul Spieldinner. Thank you all for joining our annual Rotary Diplomacy Day celebration. As a global organization with a rich history spanning over a century, Rotary International and Rotarians everywhere are committed to fostering peace and cooperation among nations. This regional gathering is a vital part of that mission as we explore the contributions of diplomacy in advancing our shared values. The first Diplomacy Day, back in 2016, spotlighted the role of international education and cultural exchanges and the power of citizen diplomacy to increase connection and understanding across borders. Since then, The annual Rotary Diplomacy Day has included members of the Consular Association of Washington who share their savvy and insights with regional Rotarians. I'd like to offer a brief shout out to some of the very earliest members of the Rotary Diplomacy Day Task Force who are with us today. Derek Pasternak, Suzanne Griffin, Fedva Dickman, Ezra Tashome, Jim Moore, Asunta Ng, Corinne Kavanaugh, Matt Albertson, Jimmy Collins, Jorge Chapa, Jamal Idris, and Kathy Gibson. Other Diplomacy Day founding fathers who could not join us today are David Woodward, Skip Rowland, Paul Ishii, and Roberto Dondish. In planning this year's program, the Rotary Diplomacy Task Force decided to focus on the regional impacts of local diplomacy. We have a distinguished panel of 6 career diplomats addressing this topic today. Seattle Rotarian Dr. Julie Kong will moderate their discussion. We are eager to hear about the goals, plans, and challenges these frontline diplomats and their colleagues face in the current environment, and to explore how we Rotarians may support their important work. Now, please join me in welcoming our moderator, Dr. Julie Kong.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much, Paul. I'm honored to moderate today's Diplomacy Day, and I would like to quickly reintroduce our panelists. So to my left, Consul General Seo Eun-ji of the Republic of Korea in Seattle, first female Consul General in the consulate's 45th year history. Next, Daniel Chen, Director General of Taipei Economic Cultural Office in Seattle. He is the longest serving among the consuls general in Seattle and wrapping up his post this July. Let's wish him well as he returns to Taiwan as Secretary General of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We are also delighted to have Consul General Makoto Iori of Japan in Seattle. And to my right, we would like to welcome Hector Ivan Goday Presky, Head Consul of Mexico in Seattle. Also welcoming Christy Adrino, Consul General of Guatemala. And our newest consulate, India, represented by Consul Sumit Raju, representing Consulate of India. Okay, so we'll get started with the first questions. You have about 2 minutes. What is the primary mission of your consulate in Seattle, and how does it align with your nation's broader diplomatic goals? Anybody can jump in. Oh, really? Yeah. Do you want to start?
Oh, I'm happy to live with friends in Korea.
All right.
Okay, sure. Absolutely. Our primary goals at the moment in Mexican foreign policy are tended towards protecting the idea that there is a standard, focused, rules-based trade economic system that has existed for the last 30 years, at least within the North American context, and at the same time protecting the rights and dignities of our citizens here in the United States. Our focus has very much been towards these two goals here in the state of Washington. And that's largely focused because there has been a little bit of a scramble, as all democracies, as Mexico is also a democracy. During periods of transition, things can get messy at times. So we are currently focusing on ensuring the safety of our citizens, the security of our citizens, and the continued work in creating a North America framework for trade and commerce.
Okay, let me begin by briefly outlining the diplomatic objectives of the Korean government. You must have never heard of it before, right? Yeah. The first one, achieving the denuclearization of North Korea. Second, the promoting diplomacy anchored in freedom, democracy, and mutual interest. Third, emerging as a global pivotal states grounded in universal values and international norms. Fourth, proactively pursuing economic security diplomacy. Last but not least, the fostering exemplary Korean communities across the world. Aligned to these objectives, the consulate is primarily focused on the strengthening the alliance with the United States, our only one and only military ally, and enhancing the diverse cooperation. The last year, Korea became top investor foreign countries in the United States. We created 470,000 jobs with the highest average salary among foreign investors at an impressive $104,000 per year. So is it the good reason to consider your career change? Is it you are interested, right? Anyway, so regarding here in the Seattle, our consulate is also the committed to the regional ties through economic cooperation and academic and technological partnerships. The Korea is the fifth largest trading partner with the Washington State, with 4.4% of the Washington's export finding home in Korea. We have a lot of cherries, apples, and airplanes and technology from Washington State. So the primary mission is to ensuring our safety and security of Korean American communities here in the Northwest. Probably this mission is one of the primary concerns of all diplomats around the world. So that's why we are collaborating with the local government and the law enforcement and community organizations to protect the dignity, rights, and safety or the Korean Americans. And also lastly, I'm focusing on inspiring the cultural pride and robust identity of Korean American community as well. So one of the example that is our continued support the Kimchi Day resolution for Washington State, which has been passed successfully for the consecutive 2 years. So this celebration, this resolution, is not just appreciating the delicious fermented cabbage. It's about recognition and respect for Korean American contribution, the American society. So collectively, we are here as a bridge between Korea and the Pacific Northwest, empowering Korean community and nurturing our mutual understanding and cooperation. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I think in the very beginning when you say my name, Daniel Chen, the Director General of TICO in Seattle, sometimes I just feel that my government needs to pay me more because hey, why do you have a Director General, not Consul General? Why do you call Taipei Economic and Cultural Office in Seattle, not a Consul of Taiwan? Because of a unique situation, so we are facing a very, very challenging, a lot of challenges from the other side of Taiwan Strait. So I like to admire, all my colleagues on this table. What's your mission? I mean, I can say all of the above. I mean, what I do, I do it. What I don't do, I still do it. So I think my job here is quite simple. I just like to make friends over here And I want to assure you that my job is to make sure that Taiwan is always a successful story of democracy and always a reliable partner of the United States. And we can be force of good. So I think that's my major mission here, to make more friends and to make people over here understand Taiwan and support Taiwan. And we can contribute to a peace and a prosperity across the Pacific. That's my answer.
Hi, thank you very much for inviting this luncheon. And the Swedish crowd reminded me my first ever concert to attend was ABBA in 1980. And the primary mission of my office to provide administrative services to the 80,000 Japanese nationals who residing in Washington State and to ensure their safety and well-being. At the same time, we strive to foster deep understanding and stronger ties between Japan and the United States, particularly with this region. The Japan-US alliance is the cornerstone of Japan's democracy and security, and enhancing and strengthening this alliance remain a top priority. This region is home to JBLM and the naval-based KITSAP, both of which play a critically important role in Japan's national security. I maintain close and regular communication with the senior leadership. Consul General in Seattle supports Japan's broader diplomatic goals, strengthening the alliance, promoting economic and technological ties, and enhancing cultural exchange. In this regard, since 2019, Japan was the most invested to United States. Japanese company create almost 1 million jobs in the United States. And the Seattle's global presence in innovation, research, and sustainability makes it a key partner in advancing these objectives, including supporting Japanese companies and individuals active in this region. And Washington is also home to about 90,000 Japanese Americans, whose resilience and contribution have laid the foundation for today's strong bilateral relationship. Partnering with this community is a vital part of our mission. Thank you very much.
Well, hello. I'm from the Consulate of Guatemala. We are not in Seattle, Washington. We just moved to Renton, Washington. And now we're going to be called the Consul General of Guatemala in the state of Washington, not to be confused with the other Washington. And what we do is to protect the safety of our people. We represent them, and their rights need to be respected. In order to do that, we document them. They go to the consulate every day, 50 of them daily, to get their passports, to get their birth certificates, to do the registry of their family that was born here in the States. And that's mostly what we do as a consulate.
I'm Soumit Raju. I'm from the Consulate General of India, Seattle. And as you might be aware, it is the newest consulate of India here in the United States. It is the 6th consulate. And our primary goal over the last year has been to first set up our shop. So we were in a temporary building for some time, and recently we have moved to downtown Seattle, where we have opened our new office. And our primary goals here would be first to establish and engage political connections with all the leaders in the Pacific Northwest region, which we have are very much on track of. And the second goal is to engage with the large Indian American community here in the Pacific Northwest region. To give you an idea of how many people of Indian origin live in the 9 states under the jurisdiction of CGI Seattle, it is around 300,000 people working in various functions. So firstly, we have also started providing them consular services with passports. There's a very good service which the Indian consulate provides called Overseas Citizen of India Service, visa services. So these are the primary goals of the Indian consulate in Seattle.
Thank you very much. Okay. So we'll move on to the second question. And again, if you can be succinct in about 2 minutes, what key initiatives or programs is your consulate undertaking in Washington and the Pacific North region? What is one challenge that you have encountered and one success you have achieved in the past year? Why don't we start here?
Hello? Hello, okay. I believe one of the most important tasks is to help local community gain an accurate and nuanced understanding of Japan, its society, politics, security, environment, economy, and culture, and to foster interest and ideally genuine appreciation for the country. To that end, I'm engaged with a wide range of individuals in this region, including politicians, military officers, academics, think tank experts, business leaders, media professionals, and students to explain what Japan is doing, how Japan thinks, and perhaps even how Japan tastes. We also actively promote Japanese culture, including its tradition and cuisine, to Washingtonians through events such as Sakura Festival at Seattle Center in spring, Japan Fair and at Maiden Barbara Center in early summer, and Japan Week at Bellevue College in fall. One success over the past year has been the steady growth of interest in Japan, thanks in part to our outreach efforts. A record-breaking 2.7 million Americans visited Japan last year, 3 times the number from a decade ago. With Expo 2025 Osaka running through October 13th, I expect this year's figure to set yet another record. And what was the other question again? All right, it was what is one challenge I've encountered in the past year? Well, that would have to be something I was obliged to do last month, delivering a speech in cosplay at the opening ceremony of SakuraCon. Thank you.
So the Taiwan major mission here, I think for my office, will be mainly focusing on increased investment from Taiwan over here in Washington State. You might know that TSMC, the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, they have a subsidiary in Commerce in Washington. So we are trying really hard to help them to maybe have their upgrade or kind of investment. So altogether, TSMC, they already have announced they're going to invest $65 billion in the States. And just a couple of months ago, they announced they're going to have additional $100 billion to the state, probably will be the single largest investment from Taiwan. So that will be my major goal, to secure Taiwan investment in the Pacific Northwest. My colleagues from Japan just mentioned that they can help contribute about 1 million jobs here in the States, which kind of reminds me because we also help secure 360,000 jobs, only 1/3 of the Japan does. And altogether, starting from 2017, accumulated investment from Taiwan over here is over $100 billion. So that number are still increasing. And just a couple of days ago in the USA, I think Taiwan once again is the largest delegation. So you can see more and more investment from Taiwan. So as regard to the challenges, as the longest serving consul general here in Seattle, I keep on writing reports back to Taipei that Seattle has become probably the 9th or 8th largest GDP cities in the States. We surpass Atlanta, we surpass Philadelphia. Still, people still don't understand the importance and the growing of Seattle, we may become the capital of AI. We have so many advanced technologies. So I keep on asking Taipei, Taiwan government to send more people. Say we have people from Ministry of Economic Affairs, we have people from the National Science Council, just to hope to have more cooperation with Seattle, the metropolitan area, to have more advance. So I think my challenge here will be we don't have enough manpower. I admire my colleagues here, and every time I chat with them, I find out how many people do you have? I say, oh, I have 30. I have 20. I say, oh yeah, I'm only about 1/10 or 1/2 of your manpower. But still, like I just mentioned, that what I did, what I do. But what I don't do sometimes, I still have to do that. So I think the major task for me will be we still need to really need to secure more officer and capable person from Taiwan to increase exchange between Seattle and Taiwan. Thanks.
One of the key initiatives which the Indian Consulate in Seattle has started is this module called Invest in India Business Forum, where we have organized the first event of that kind last year, where we have invited various business leaders and the business community in the Greater Seattle region and Puget Sound region to attract and welcome their investments in 5 critical sectors in India, where India has been growing and has the Indian government has focused on these 5 sectors, including artificial intelligence, agri-tech, healthcare, higher education. So that was one initiative which we have started. And on the cultural front, we have started an initiative called India Culture Week, where the first edition we have organized last year in Seattle University, where over a week, various Indian programs have been conducted, and the American students and professors and the regular people have been introduced to Indian culture. And so the third initiative I would like to talk about is our National Day celebration, which is the Independence Day celebration, which we celebrate in August every year. This also connects to the other question of challenge and success, what the consulate has achieved in last year. So to give you an idea of the diversity of India, India has around 22 officially recognized languages and 200 plus languages spoken by major populations, and around 2,000 languages and dialects spoken by minor populations. So diversity is huge. To paraphrase a leader from India, he says if you talk anything about India, it must always be in plural. It cannot be standardized. So when we first opened the consulate here last year, the first challenge we encountered was that many Indian Americans have been celebrating the Indian festivals, promoting Indian soft power, but they have been operating in silos, meaning each Bengali community is celebrating the Bengali festivals. From down south, people have been focusing on their own region. So what the consulate has done last year is to bring all of them into one umbrella of the consulate and celebrate India as a whole. And the festival has also been attended by many distinguished guests over here. And that was one success, I would say, which the consulate has achieved.
You're right. That was my welcome party when I came here. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Well, the first, I just came here in the month of August, so I'm kind of new. And my first designated task was to move from Seahawk to Renton, and we got it. And the second is, what we like to do is to promote the mobility migrant program. That's when the companies here in the United States, especially in this area, will conduct the mobility program in Guatemala to bring over migrants to work for 3 months, 6 months on a specific program. These people will come with visas and permits to be here for up to 2 years. So that's what we would like to promote as consulate.
Well, I think one of the great issues that we have as Mexico's representation here in the United States is just how important the U.S.-Mexico relationship is. So when we talk about trade between Mexico and the United States, we're talking about Mexico and the United States being each other's largest trade partner. We've surpassed our Canadian friends a couple of years ago. Of course, they're the third amigo in the three amigos. So I will never diminish the importance of Canada in our relationship, but we are each other's #1 trading partner. At the same time, and this is a part that tends to be ignored quite often, the United States is Mexico's #1 source of immigrants. So we have recently passed more than 2 million U.S. immigrants to Mexico, and that number is growing steadily. Some of our initiatives that we have implemented specifically is Mexico Te Abraza, which is specifically designed to welcome people who are coming to Mexico from the United States. Now, most people don't actually realize this, but Mexican migration to the United States has largely been at about net negative levels for about the last 15 years. That is to say that there's more Mexican people leaving the United States than there is Mexican people coming into the United States. Some of the instability that I had made reference to earlier has been one of the sources of our biggest challenges here in the region for the last little bit, because we have seen that rules that have been established for a while have suddenly been upended. That has meant instability, has meant that we are no longer 100% sure, and a lot of insecurity among the community. We have other initiatives that in particular tend to emphasize how important the United States and Mexico are to each other, such as El Mexam Festival, which luckily had more than 110,000 participants last year. We're going to have its next edition this year as well, starting in September 15th. For us, this is extremely important because it's important to talk about how important we are to each other as partners. Our initiative right now is let's not close the door, let's keep the door open, and let's keep working together. That's our goal, and these are our initiatives.
My initiatives in Seattle can be defined by three C's: connection, collaboration, and cooperation. I actually, in particular, I have, emphasized these values through, the active engagement in the local organizations, taking advantage of AANHPI Heritage Month with the Pacific Northwest, as a passionate champion of this tradition. So, for instance, I'm very proud to co-host the Korea Day with the Seattle Opera for 3 consecutive years. This year, the Tosca, they cast the Korean, the singer as a main actor, and we hosted together free and post talk show. And also we celebrated, together with the Seattle Film Festival, annually inviting Korean films and Korean directors. This year, we actually, today and tomorrow, they will, host the Korean, the film festival as well. And also, uniquely this year, we, collaborate with the Seattle-based famous b-boy group, Massive Monkeys, and they featuring the performance with the Korean b-boys and b-boy b-girls through the exciting international battle competition. And also this, the very highlight of the AANHPI month of Korea is our celebration on Kimchi Day. The collaboration with the Seattle Culinary Academy, judged by very famous Seattle chefs. And the first winner will receive the full sponsorship, including round tickets, hotel accommodation, and per diem to compete in the finals in Korea. So yeah, actually you are interested in watching this food competition. It's open, so we would like to invite all of you here. So please let me know. And one of my most the memorable events was the last year's Korea Day in collaboration with the Seattle's Mariners game, where I through the first pitch, it was a perfect strike. Mariners won. I got the goddess of victory and a very unforgettable memory. And one of the memorable, the events we host is, the co-hosting with, the 7th Infantry Division under the first call and state governments. We are annually the honoring Korean War Memorial Ceremony, the honoring Korean War veterans, their sacrifice, and awarding the Ambassador for Peace medals. We don't forget the American sacrifice for freedom of our country. And last but not least, we recently reopened Korean Education Center in Bellevue for 26 years. That the Korean Education Center will serve as a bridge between next generation between our two countries. Actually, we will open Korean language program for K-pop and the K-drama enthusiasts. And also we are advocating Korean program as a bilingual program or a second language program in K-12 curricular. So the challenges, I don't see any challenges because you are very generous, very open-minded, very supportive for our activities. So taking this opportunity, I really appreciate. And for the success, I don't know how I can measure the success, but thankfully, fortunately, the Asian Hall of Fame chose me as a 2024 inductee of the Asian Hall of Fame as the first foreign diplomat. So I don't know how I succeeded in that, but that recognition means me a lot. So I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
We're learning a lot, and there's a lot of events that we should be anticipating. Last question. How can Rotarians collaborate with your consulate to support your objectives and strengthen local partnerships?
I think one of the ways that Rotarians can support the work that we do is, number one, the United States is a very special country to Mexico. The reality is that we share many of when Mexico came into being as a republic, we took much of the Constitution of the United States as the framework for the one that we have built. This has meant that we have many of the same rights in Mexico that we have here in the United States. However, there are many people who are now actively campaigning against people having those rights. The reality is that everybody here in this room is somebody who can support somebody who faces themselves in a situation where people are trying to strip them of rights. So what I mean by this, we have faced online harassment of a lot of people, and there's a fair bit of fear that's going on. The reality is that it's always important as a community, as everybody who is here, it's very active to give spaces for people who can learn about their rights, their labor rights, their rights to unfair seizures and other situations. So this is one of the things that I want to tell everybody here who is part of the Rotary, is that now more than ever, it's important that we come together, that we have these spaces, and at the same time that there's more information about rights, and we're standing up for each other. So I think that's how the Rotary can support much of the work of what we're doing now.
I'll totally agree with you. It will be to invite you all through your companies, through your positions, through everybody, to make America great again in a different way, to respect the rights of people. I'm sorry. Anyhow, also, there's been a lot of Rotary's program developed in my country, which I truly appreciate, and I will encourage you to continue with those.
Firstly, I would like to thank the Rotary Club for putting this event together. And Catherine was telling me how much active the Rotarians are back in India, and the amount of activities they do back in India. So probably one thing which we can collaborate on is to kill this ignorance and make people aware of the activities which Rotarians have been doing in India, starting with myself, probably. And the other thing where I can see a potential collaboration is by organizing cultural events together, targeting Americans and the Indian community here in Seattle, where both of us can collaborate. So thank you.
I really admire the spirit of the Rotary. I think that the spirit of Rotary are kind of leadership, dedication to local communities, and the development to efforts to fight against poverty around the world. So those are Rotary spirit. I teach your spirit to my next generation. So that's why I would like to collaborate together with you for the next generation. The taking advantage of the Seattle, the Korean education center. So if we have several Korean the Korean schools which are operating during the weekends. That's why I would like to invite some speakers from Rotary to share your experiences as leaders and of the community here in Seattle. Thank you very much.
Yeah, the way I see how Rotarian can help us as risk guard, I would say, I still remember years ago, Dr. Skip told me that he'd like to have the Rotary Club to have the annual meeting in Taipei. But because COVID, we don't get there. So the invitation is still there, and I do hope that we can have more Rotarian to visit Taiwan to see, to believe. So you get a first-hand information about how we can be compatible and how we can contribute to your interest, to the safety and prosperity. Of course, I mean, as regard to cooperation, we love to join you for more exchanges, like what we are doing right now. And one day, probably not enough. So maybe you can do more, maybe quarterly or every halfly. So I think my colleagues they are going to be very glad to join us to promote a mutual understanding and see how we can help each other. I think that's my answer. Thank you.
The Seattle Rotary Club has a meaningful history with Japan. A notable example is the 2006 visit of Kono Taro, who later served as Japanese foreign minister, during which he delivered a speech to the club. That address was broadcast nationally via cable and online by the University of Washington, underscoring the significance of the occasion. We see strong potential for collaboration in youth leadership programs that connect Japanese and American students and professionals. For example, the Council General has partnered with Issaquah Rotary's Young Professionals Exchange, where young Japanese professionals gain experience in U.S. workplace. As one of the world's most respected Rotary clubs, Seattle Rotary is a valuable partner in advancing grassroots diplomacy and Japan-U.S. friendship. Thank you very much.
Thank you again. Let's give a big round of applause to our panelists. And they did so well. We're gonna time for one or two questions.
Thank you. Hello. Yes, I want to ask a question and direct towards all the diplomats here. You all bring something from your countries here to America. What is something that we can understand from each one of your countries that can help America become better and how we communicate and be a more global citizen? Keep it simple, keep it concise, but what is it? I'll right here first. Please say cricket.
No, I would like to be timely and just let you all know that June 21st, which is astronomically the longest day of the year, is officially recognized as the International Day of Yoga by the United Nations. And just this June 21st, we are going to celebrate the International Day of Yoga in more than 15 cities of the Pacific Northwest. And we are going to have a very big event here in the Seattle waterfront, where we are expecting more than 500 to 600 people come and do yoga. So I would say yoga is perhaps what both of us can learn and exchange from each other.
That was a tricky question. We can share a lot through, if now that the social media, it's just everybody can reach to it. I will invite you to read about Guatemala. Guatemala, it used to be habitated by the Mayan people. We are descendants of the Mayas. We speak 23 different languages in Guatemala, each one of them with a different culture. And so we're a country to be studied and visit.
That is an extremely hard question for Mexico, just because we're already so linked to each other that it's hard to say. Like I said, we have more than 2 million American immigrants in Mexico at the moment. And we have, just in the state of Washington, about 400,000 Mexican-born migrants that reside here. If we add Mexican Americans, we're now talking about 1.2 million people in Washington state that have some connection to Mexico. But if I had to say one thing that I would say bring over from Mexico now is probably or tequila celebrations. Being from the state of Jalisco, those are near and dear to my heart, so it would be wonderful to have them here.
Yeah, as I mentioned, the first one, the economic investment, we are the top investor foreign country in the United States last year. And the second, Korean culture, which attracted more American people to Netflix. That kind of that also makes the America more richer. And also the kind of Korean culture, food and the K-pop, that makes you more happy. And also, and the last one is Korean War veterans. They remind us, how important freedom and democracy is in the world. Thank you.
So I may say I want to bring a tapioca or kind of a pearl bubble tea over here. You're wrong. Okay, there do exist one item I'd like to bring to your attention. That's the mango. What's special about mango? A couple days ago, I was following an event. Then I do my research. I found out there's a kind of a mango in Taiwan which is famous, world famous. It's called Irwin mango. But actually, if you dig deep enough, you find out the Irwin mango is bred in Florida in the year 1947 and become really, really popular and prosperous in Taiwan in the year 1962. So ever since, we are so proud we can export this mango to all over the world. So it symbolizes the cooperation between the United States and Taiwan. We can make people healthy. We can lower your blood pressure. We can, boost your immunity. So we are really proud of it. So I think that's something I'd like to bring to this community, and I told you many stories about our cooperation, a very successful story. Thank you.
Japan and Washington State, the economy ties consist of the three pillars. One is seafood. The other next is lumber import. And the third, Boeing. You may know that the 35% of Boeing 787 parts are imported or made by Japanese companies. And recently, Nintendo, Pokemon, has a headquarters here in Washington State. And to know Japan, it's a good timing for you to visit, Japan Fair, which will be held in Maidenberg on 12th and 13th of July this year. Please come join us.
Thank you for your answers. Appreciate it greatly. Now we're going to have past President General Jimmy Collins come up to introduce Canada.
It's a giant topic. Thank you, Jaime. And to our panel, thank you so much for enlightening us on things that are important to you. We'll do our best to help you. The concept of military-to-military cooperation is one which is not always well understood, but in the context of diplomatic relationships, each of our nation's military cooperates closely with the State Department equivalent of the nation, and nothing would be more important to my heart than to just share a little bit about that to you. We also have an opportunity, a special opportunity, to have representation by the Canadian government today through the presence of the gentleman on my right. Unfortunately, the consular staff was all tied up in prior engagements, but we have Canadian Army Brigadier General Eric Landry, who is the Deputy Commanding General for Operations in America's First Corps. What that means in short, he's the number 2 to a 3-star U.S. general that is in charge of, on a daily basis, training and preparation for all U.S. Army activities in Indo-PACOM. So Eric has a very substantial position. He is going to share with us a bit from his experience. Please help me welcome Brigadier General Eric Landry.
Okay, thank you, General Collins, for the kind introduction. Thank you for all the Rotarians for having me. Thank you for the invite. I'd like to start my short presentation by talking about our adversaries in the Pacific, because they're not sitting still. Just last year, North Korea has launched 40 missiles in the Pacific. And now Russia. We hear a lot about Russia with Ukraine, but I'm sure you've seen on the news that now Russia and North Korea are collaborating. Think about ammunition or even troops going from North Korea all the way to the Ukrainian front. And obviously there's China contesting the exclusive economic zone all over the eastern and southern China Sea. Which is highly disputed, obviously, because of its significance in energy resources. And then there's the Taiwan Strait. As you know, it's a major shipping lane. Over 1,000 ships a day go through the Taiwan Strait, and the Chinese Navy has been mounting major exercises lately in this area. So Canada recently published its Indo-Pacific strategy. Although, it's not automatically, it doesn't automatically come to your mind, but Canada is a Pacific nation. We have many ties to the Indo-Pacific. There's 250,000 immigrants from the Indo-Pacific that come to Canada every year. The Indo-Pacific region is home of 6 of 13 largest trading partners with Canada. And Canada is part of several major regional free trade agreements. Lately, we signed a comprehensive and progressive agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, and it has propelled the Indo-Pacific region as the 2nd trading partner after the US, but surpassing Europe. So it's a significance important to Canada. So, what's my role in this? General Collins introduced me as the Deputy Commanding General for operations. That position, that exchange position, has been established since 2009. And my role is really to organize and synchronize all the operations that America's First Corps participates in the Pacific region. The Corps is huge. It's the major army, the only major army formation that is Pacific bound. We have 3 divisions, one here in JBLM, one in Alaska, one in Hawaii, and our 4th division is really the 1st Australian division. They participate in all our exercises and they're fully integrated in most of our operations. First Corps participates in what we call Operation Pathways, which is a series of 40 exercises all over the Pacific that is meant to project credible deterrence towards our adversaries. And my role in this is to shape what we call in the Corps the deep fight. So essentially the role of the Corps is to establish an area where our divisions can go and fight all over the Pacific. I'm also the executive director for the Stryker Warfighting Forum. So everything that has to do with Stryker in the US, I kind of oversee. I commanded back in Canada the equivalent of a Stryker brigade. We have many ties in the Pacific with our Stryker vehicle. So for example, there's always a Stryker brigade in Korea. And we've also sold Stryker to the Royal Thai Army, and they're looking to buy more. India is also contemplating buying the Stryker. So I get involved in this on a daily basis. Let me give you a concrete example of what I do in the Pacific. In November and December of 2024, we had exercise Yamasakura, which is a yearly exercise in Japan. And it's a fictitious exercise, but it's based on real geography. So 3 fictitious adversaries that could be the first 3 I named are trying to invade a small island south of Japan, a fictitious country. And our role is to rehearse in a multi-domain setting. Think about land, sea, space, cyberspace, and air, how we can defeat a potential adversary. And my role in this fight is to coordinate what we call the kinetic effects, so launching missiles, killing enemies, but to non-kinetic effects, because it has become a major endeavor all over the world, but specifically in the Pacific. So what I do on exercise, during that exercise, is I would command the forward command post. So I would deploy in the invaded country with 40 to 60 people to run the operations forward for the commanding general, who would stay in the main command post. And that's what we're rehearsing every year in Japan, but also every year in South Korea, every second year in Australia. You know, all these exercises are all tied to rehearsing something that could really happen. So my boss, Lieutenant General McFarland, is adamant that we need to be credible and we need to be able and ready to fight tonight. So this is why we keep rehearsing, and this is why we are very cognizant of the importance of all these relationships. So building that networks of allies and partners all over the Pacific is essential to us prevailing in the Pacific. I mean, America will never fight alone. I think I'm a good example of this, being completely embedded in America's First Corps. I'd like also to talk quickly about what Canada is doing in the Indo-Pacific militarily. We have, okay, I've exceeded my time, 1 minute. NORAD has an element called here at Joint Base Louis McChord called the Western Area Defense Sector, fully integrated a bilateral command between Canada and the U.S., and they're doing a fantastic job. And lastly, I'm going to talk about the Navy. They're one of the few navies who do Taiwan Strait transits with the U.S. military. And they're also going to send a ship to Seafair here in Seattle, HMCS Regina, so please come and see it. So I'm sorry for very Canadian. Sorry that I've gone over time, so I'm going to conclude here, but I'll stay back if you have any questions. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, General Landry. Your leadership service is a powerful example of cross-border cooperation in action. I'm Jamal Idris. I'm the immediate past president of the Bellevue Rotary Club and also serving as assistant district governor. What an outstanding program we had today, rich with insight, experience, and global perspective. From our distinguished diplomats, General Landry, and those who contributed this day, your voice have truly deepened our understanding of international service and collaboration. Thank you all for being part of this inspiring Diplomacy Day. Your presence, whether Rotarians, diplomats, or members of the consular community, reaffirms our shared commitment to dialogue, service, and peace across borders. A special thank you to our panel of distinguished diplomats of your thoughtful participation in today's discussion on local diplomacy. Your insights into the mission, challenge, and success of your consulates here in the Pacific Northwest brought real depth in today's gathering. As a gesture of appreciation for your participation today, we've donated 600 servings of healthy food in your name to Harvest Against Hunger, a Rotarian-led nonprofit dedicated addressing food insecurity across Washington state. I also want to extend a heartfelt thanks to the organizing committee and everyone who helped behind the scene to bring this meaningful program to life. Your dedication made today's event possible. Looking ahead, I guess Director General Chen, you've mentioned about visiting Taiwan. The good news is the Rotary International Conference next year is going to be in Taipei. So I hope you're ready for half of this room to welcome us and have a reunion. And also taking in your recommendations, I'm pleased to announce that the Bellevue Rotary is working towards hosting a next diplomacy gathering on the east side. While plans are still in the early stage, the moment is strong to stay tuned for updates as we continue building what promises to be another meaningful event this fall. So hopefully there'll be more than one Diplomacy Day a year. Let us continue to live our Rotary International vision. Together we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. And finally, before I turn it over to President John, as past president, you appreciate what it takes to be a president of a club. So I want to, as the Rotary year is coming to an end, I want to thank President John for your service and dedication to Rotary. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You know, this is really great to have this great a group here and representatives from all of our local Rotary clubs. So thank you all for coming today, and thank our council. And we know that next year we'll continue getting together and celebrating our world and celebrating working together in our world. And it's just wonderful to be able to see that happen here, and that will continue, I know, right here in the Northwest. We will be adjourned. Thank you all for coming. And before you leave, we have a photo that we want to take of all the participants here today. So if you have been a participant, stick around.